It finally got delivered. The first thing I am looking at is a ram steak that is out of the slot. It's just chilling, hanging around in the case. You know, I might have messed up, like, actually. Here's 4 more computers that aren't selling, and it can get pretty stressful when you're starting to sit on thousands of dollars of inventory. This is Flipping PCs Until I Buy a House. The title pretty much sums up the series and what the video is about. I buy used computer parts, build gaming PCs, and try to make some money on them. Now recently it has actually slowed down when it comes to selling the gaming computers, but today we managed to make some profit from straight effort. I actually do that with the help of today's sponsor. If you are wanting to try your hand at flipping PCs for profit, then Jawa is the best online marketplace to do so. You can sell individual computer parts, which I actually do in this video, and of course you can sell fully built custom gaming computers, which I also do. Now aside from the fact that listing an item for sale is so easy, it is also super secure. Say for example you sell a computer, it gets damaged and you have to return it. Well, they actually have shipping insurance built into the transaction if you use their shipping, and it works. I've actually had to use it, unlike other insurances where you literally have to wait an eternity. So if you want to make a little extra cash or even buy a pre-built gaming PC, then visit Jawa with the links below. And if you're a new customer on the site, use the code ElijahsLab10 to save 10% on your first order. Thank you, Jawa. And now let's get into the main video. Earlier today, I had ended the last episode, and in that video, I was saying, oh, sales are slow, market's slow, nothing is selling. Literally after I ended the video, I sold a computer. And here's the computer in question. I just have it set up to do some final testing before I do pack it up. So I built this computer a little bit ago as a Ryzen 5 5500, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I did take the extra step, completely took apart the graphics card and spray painted it white, and it's just a GTX 1660 Super. Build turned out pretty good, all white, nice little fish tank case. If I remember correctly, after the fees, the profit should be around 150 bucks. Definitely a great way to start this episode. If you remember, this had happened in the last episode. About a week ago, we did sell a computer, so that's good. But right now I'm talking to the buyer and it might be getting returned, so it finally got delivered. Now when the buyer had messaged me, they were just saying, hey, it's not displaying anything on my monitor. It turns on, but just no display. They were also saying it seemed like one of the RAM sticks was lighting up and one of them wasn't. I couldn't understand too much from the messages. I was trying to help them troubleshoot, but it didn't seem like they knew a whole lot about computers and they just wanted to return it. Let's get it open up and check out the damages. You heard that, right? That did not sound good. Well, it's honestly not looking very good. The first thing I am looking at is a RAM stick that is out of the slot. It's just chilling, hanging around in the case. The second thing that caught my attention was the CPU cooler. It appears that it got bent, maybe? The third and the most scary thing that caught my attention is the GPU. It is out of the PCIe slot. Thanks to the buyer, he didn't send it back with the original Instapack foam inside, so it rattled all over the place. Hopefully, I don't know. It's probably broken. I have the computer set up at my test bench. I finished putting it back together like Humpty Dumpty. Let's just see if it works in the current state it showed up. The power flip is switched, or the power switch is flipped. Okay, so no RGB, no fan spinning here. Both the RAM sticks are lighting up though. GPU ramped up, so that's good news, I think. I did see one light switch to blue. So far nothing though. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but maybe the guy just didn't want it anymore. And for now, I'm going to be running tests on this computer to make sure that everything is working and nothing is broken. Testing that RTX 2070. I'm actually going to end up selling it on its own. So computers aren't selling, but I don't have a problem selling graphics cards. So yeah, I ended up listing the GPU for sale on its own, and it already sold. Matter of fact, I actually had 2 of those RTX 2070s for sale, and they both are already gone. But that's not the point, there's more to the computer than that. During the basic test I was running to see if any of the parts were faulty, it was going smoothly until I loaded up Prime 95. Within just a few minutes of the test, I noticed the CPU was running a bit warm, around 90°C. My first thought was, oh bro, it's just the cooler, it probably just needs to be straightened out. Well, that is what I did. I used all the force I could muster up and tried until the damn thing broke. Like literally broke into 2 pieces. After that, I just got straight to taking the rest of the computer apart and didn't waste any time. I started rebuilding this thing almost right away. The case that I swapped the parts into is this GameMax F36. It has an obnoxious logo and a power supply cutout. So with this computer, I did some slight custom work with the help of white vinyl and a heat gun. I think the build turned out pretty awesome. If you can't tell by the B-roll, the GPU I swapped in is now the GTX 1080, and I bought it off eBay for $81.99. The first thing I did was retest the whole system. In Prime 95, it was running a lot better. The CPU temp was around 73, so after that, I just moved on to testing out some games. So here's that computer. It still hasn't sold. Now if we check the ad on Jawbone right now, it is saying it has 454 views and 11 people are saving it or 11 people are watching it. And right here is 4 more computers that aren't selling. You know, I might have messed up, like actually. When I started out flipping computers, I would only do 1 build at a time because it was less risky, but really I just didn't have all the capital to build multiple computers at once. But now we do, which is a blessing and a curse at the same time. You see, doing it this way is pretty fun, just building PCs, but man, it can get pretty stressful when you're starting to sit on thousands of dollars of inventory. But if I have learned anything over the past years, it's this. Focus on what you can control and forget about the rest. So what can I control? Well, I can drop prices on the one behind me and the computers in front of me, but I'm not ready for that yet. So in the meantime, we can just do what we do best. This computer has been sitting here almost since the day I bought it. I should probably do something with it so I don't lose any money on it. So I had bought this in the last episode, and previously I had said, and this is my biggest risk / gamble that I've ever taken when flipping PCs. So in this box is an HP Omen 30L pre-built, which cost me a total of $1,053.13. For basic rundown, it has an i7-10700K, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and an RTX 3090. My plan? I want to flip it for profit, and the first thing that will require me to do is to case swap it and choose a more aesthetically pleasing option. So that's what I did. I began to take it apart so we could start the case swap on it, but first we need to handle the GPU, and I actually want to sell it on its own. And that was my plan from the very beginning when I first bought the computer. Well, I just put the RTX 3090 up for sale, and this is really exciting. If it sells for the asking price, then this will set us up really well to make nearly $300 in profit, if not more. Let's just hope it goes according to plan. Whatever site it sells on, we'll get roughly $808 for the GPU. Now if we subtract that from the starting cost, it makes the rest of the computer around $245, which is pretty awesome. Well, it hasn't even been like 20 minutes since I listed the RTX 3090. We already got a first offer. Let's see what it is. Bro, do you see that? $600? No, thank you. Yeah, that offer was a laughing stock, so I just continued on with the build. I actually started off with setting the board on a quick test bench just to see if the motherboard has any issues being outside of the case. Sometimes you never know how a pre-built will act until you actually have it taken apart, but luckily this was easy. Let's go, we got a post. I then started by installing the mounting hardware for a new cooler, which is this Montech Hyperflow ARGB 360mm AIO in white. Now, as you know, we are case swapping it, so I won't be using the original case, power supply, or AIO, and I valued those components at $75. That brings the cost of the motherboard combo roughly to 170 bucks, and it has everything with it. I won't know the full cost until we sell that RTX 3090 to see how much we get for it. As for now, everything is a rough estimate. I just finished putting the computer together, and look at that AIO fitment, man. That thing is it's a pretty tight fit in there. Looks pretty good. I have it hooked up to a monitor. Let's go and see if it works. Okay, seeing everything light up. I wonder if there should be RGB on the pump block. Oh, we do get a post. I might just not have that plugged in. I'm thinking that RGB just doesn't work on this AIO, because I hooked up another one and it's working. Luckily, this AIO was a part of 6 that I bought off eBay from one singular seller, and the guy is seeming pretty cool and he'll let me return any of them that aren't working. I ended up finishing the build and then got straight to testing it out. If you paid attention in the last episode, you might have noticed that during the initial testing when I first bought the computer, the CPU was running a bit toasty thanks to the terrible 120mm AIO and the HP Omen pre-built. But now that we have a beefy 360mm AIO, the CPU is running nice and chilly, and also better since it isn't thermal throttling itself anymore. Let me show you an example. On the left is the CPU with the crappy Omen cooler, and on the right is the upgraded custom not crappy cooler. Both are playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at 1440p with the ultra settings preset. And I mean, you can see the results for yourself. It's kind of crazy how HP is okay with selling something like this when the CPU is clearly suffering. Oh well, at least it's running cooler now. I'm gonna test a few more games on this computer. While I do that, you can watch this. We're doing a little side quest in today's episode. This is gonna be one of the easiest way to flip computers for profit. And what it is basically what I did with that RTX 3090 computer. Buy a fully built PC, just flip it, take better pictures, maybe put some better parts in it, and flip it for profit. Gotta get the cash first. 400 bucks. Deal secured us right there behind me. It went pretty smoothly. I didn't get mugged. The guy was actually pretty cool. I was talking to him and he said he bought this computer as a pre-built and literally decided to upgrade like 2 months after to, I think he said, a 7800X3D, an RTX 4070. So you got a pretty nice upgrade, but this will do plenty good for us. Just made it back with the computer. Now it's time to see if we got scammed. Let's go and flip the little power switch, and okay, at least it lights up. That looks pretty good on white. Oh, there's some blue. Hey, so far it's working. So originally when I found this computer on OfferUp, I saw the guy had listed it for 600 bucks, but then he had lowered it to 500. So I came in and sent in an offer for 400 bucks and we succeeded. Now the full specs are up on screen. You let me know if it's worth it. I should be able to sell it for around the $800 mark. I'm trying to check what power supply is in here, and like, man, this thing is really in there. I can't even pull it out. All right, looks like we got a Montech Alpha Gold 650 watt 80 plus gold with all black cables. Here is the new and improved build. It is looking pretty good. There's the front. Let's go and turn it on. Oh yeah, baby. So for the work I did, we swapped the case to the Sama SVO2. I added 2 extra infinity fans up here. I also swapped the cooler to a white one. And then Last thing I added was some white cable extensions. I don't know how I forgot, but I also swapped the RAM to a 32GB kit that I got off of AliExpress. I'm gonna take some quick pictures, finish testing it out, and then we'll list it for sale. Well, sorry I look a little crusty, but I wanted to give you an update. Here's the computer. I was actually going to give you an update a few days ago and tell you that it still hasn't sold, and then it sold last night. And awesome news, I was about to drop the price, but then it sold for my asking price. Doing some final testing before I ship it off, and then we'll be back to talk about the profit. Computer is dropped off. I would say this has been a success. So we started with a $400 computer. At the end, it ended up not even costing me that much more because the parts that I didn't use, I subtracted cost for those parts, like the case, the RAM, and I think the cooler we didn't use. Profit, I think it is around $300, but the exact numbers and everything will be on screen. But yeah, I'm super happy with how this turned out. If you enjoyed this little side quest, let me know by smashing a like and maybe dropping a comment. In future episodes, I can maybe bring this back. But for now, let's get back to the original video. I don't even know what's going on there. I finished benchmarking this computer and it performs pretty good. Now the full cost is still up in the air because we're still waiting for the 3090 to sell. Now as far as listing this thing for sale goes, bro, we have to wait. Let me show you. So here's the computer. You know, it looks pretty good, but the fans on the AIO are sticking out like a sore thumb. That's all my fault because recently I had ordered Infinity ARGB fans on AliExpress to try out, see if I like the look of them. After trying them out, I love the look of them, especially when all the other fans are Infinity in the case. Well, I only have 2 left. I don't think that's gonna work. Well, this episode has been pretty fun. I'm just happy we finally sold a couple of gaming computers and some GPUs. Total profit is on screen. Slowly but surely, we will reach our goal. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, subscribe if you loved it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.